absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Rogue. We're going to go send it back to the couch to break it down further.
Speaking of outperforming themselves, I'm back. You thought it was going to be about you guys, but it wasn't. It was about
No,
me.
I didn't. I never.
We're going to talk about Lunar New Year.
Are we? Okay.
Because I believe it starts on Tuesday.
Okay.
The next broadcast is on Friday, and then we've got Saturday as well. There's some Lunar New Year skins.
Yeah.
League, a lot of... Wait, what was this?
I didn't buy. I played a Tom Kench game the other day, and I didn't buy the skin, and I was so upset. Because the thing is, you can actually buy the skins in Champ Select.
Yep.
But I didn't have any RP. So like I got into Champ Select. I'm like, oh my god, I picked Tom. Like I'm not gonna play Blue Tom, which before this point was the best skin. I'm gonna get the new one, and I'm clicking the button, and I've just got nothing in the bank. So I need to invest. I need to invest.
Is that the lesson?
Yeah, I need to invest.
So we put a call out to you guys for suggestions for Lunar New Year ideas to do in the broadcast next week. We've got a heap of suggestions. We're going to run through them, see if any of these float our boat, tickle our something. Some, New Year's related, I don't know, build our lantern, and some of them might not. Fay Ray 101 says, dress Bailey as a piglet, please.
Cute.
I like that. I can get behind that. That's
back that idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Now, we don't have... Their camera's not wide enough. You don't even see it. All you see here is a whiteboard from like 3 weeks ago that we never ended using.
No,
Get out of here!
We put Benji's quotes on them, to be fair.
Benji's dead.
okay.
I'm sorry I had to break it to you like this.
Happy birthday, Benji. You're dead.
There's actually a dog bed right here that you can't see. We may bring a dog in next week and dress it up like a pig. Who knows? It's Dirge says, Nick Boy dressing up as a pig.
I also like this idea.
I thought you'd already dressed up as a pig.
Oh!
It's just a well-known fact that pigs don't wear collars. So
That is
you've routinely forgotten yours, and this is it. This is what we're left with.
technically correct, Bryce. Well done. Dash BB says, theme it with more painting. And I hate to reference Dash BB, of course. But I like this idea. We had a lot of success with the previous paintings.
No, we didn't.
We had.
What are you talking about? I would argue that
Hold
is
on.
the best thing that we've ever done on any OPL
And
podcast, let alone
whilst
a
I would-
Richardson endorsed podcast.
Whilst I would agree that it was one of the best things we have done,
Yep.
I refuse to set the bar at that level for greatness. We can do better.
The thing is, like, you succeeded in the fact that you did paint something.
That is true.
But that is like
We
you
could never
did
take
the
that away from
absolute
him.
minimum. We
As in, like,
received a painting at the end.
Technically, paint was put onto canvas
Yes.
using
Yes.
a brush. Yeah.
Yes.
King's addition to that painting, by the way, still gives me nightmares. King, you should be
Was it the
ashamed of
nose?
yourself.
It was the nose.
He ruined the nose.
Yeah, there was a moment. Because I actually I can't remember why, but a couple of weeks ago, someone linked to me of the sort of highlights cut of that, and that moment when he because I was talking to one of
You're
you guys,
outraged.
and then I turned and looked at the painting. I was like, my masterpiece. That was brutal. A battle.
A paint battle,
Yeah, no,
like a
you're on-
paint off.
Oh, okay.
Like
So explain.
For like Lunar New Year, right? Let's just say it's a Lunar New Year theme painting. We have a battle instead. We don't just have you and Jews Bob Rossing. We have a legitimate who can paint it better.
You know it's going to devolve into people just flinging paint at each other's paintings, though.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Oh, sabotage.
Like
None of
Kings.
us would ever think of sabotage.
There's pictures of the painting, by the way.
That's a great.
And I would say the only messed up thing about that is the nose.
Well, okay, the thing is,
He looks like he's on fire.
King did
Yeah.
the color of the nose.
Yep.
But the nose is just in the wrong position. And I've only noticed this now. His nose is like way too far to the right.
That's actually Gragas before he got like facial surgery. I forgot the word for it.
Like
A facelift?
like a nose job.
Nose
What
job.
is it?
Nose job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, got
Yeah.
his lips done.
He's been to LA. He's getting a little bit of sunshine in, getting his nose done.
Yeah, got
Obviously,
his
yeah.
hair caught on fire.
Needs to go to the barber.
Which is what happens in California, by the way. Have you seen that place?
People's hair catches on fire?
Everything catches on fire.
Oh, right, that's
Ah.
true. That is true. Yeah. Way to bring it down. But I do like the painting idea. We may come back to that. Sven Ma says, I want sexy one-piece dresses. I don't know where that came from. It may have even been in
No.
reference to something else that was mentioned in the chat, and that just got... I just thought
Yeah,
that was a
You just
suggestion.
picked it. Yeah.
And I'm just saying.
Yeah. You're about the sexy one-piece dresses?
Well, I'm looking at you.
Why are you looking at me? You're the one that's so aptly
he's
picked
looking
it out
at
of
a
the chat.
chica roll in a dress.
I am. Because, I'm already a pig, so I've got my costume sorted, apparently. So, yeah. Miasma Os says, pigs and bands. I like this.
Oh.
I like this. I don't know. Either we make this a game, and I don't know what that game is. there's a collection of 10 different pigs, and you need to pick 5 and ban 5. I don't know.
Wait,
or
oh,
we
pigs-
just or we
oh.
rename the picks and bans.
Sorry.
Like moment in the game.
I thought you said pigs and bands.
I did.
Like
like bands
no,
in like rock
as in
band?
like yeah, like a band. I was like
Interesting.
musical pigs, and then I was like, wait, are these like exercise pigs and like
we could do
elastic
that.
bands? But you didn't even say either of those things.
No.
You said pigs and bands, like Champ Select.
But you just did say the words musical pigs, and I reckon there's a game in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So if chat have a suggestion as to what musical pigs could be, maybe we'll just play that. But I like the idea of like renaming some stuff. You know how there's the
Yeah.
mirror in the bathroom upstairs that says "You're so vain."
Yeah,
VAYNE.
yeah,
It's,
the
you know,
chant.
it's cute. You know, it's cute, Jake. It's
is.
cute.
All right.
Appreciate the cuteness. What
Are
have I
there
got?
any other suggestions?
There are. Wow, none of these have.
You're such
none
a
of these have
grumpy
built your
dad.
lantern yet.
No.
No. Okay. Sleepy Australia suggests exchange secret red envelopes to each other.
I
So this is where you give money to people.
personally
So,
refuse to give
I've
Nick
been
Boy
told-
money, so
I've been
luck.
told you only do that to somebody that you're in love with.
Oh, we can do it
on
then.
Chinese New Year.
I am
specifically.
happy to accept red envelopes from everyone.
Then Fish has been feeding me with lies lately
Everyone in the like your bosses and stuff give it to you.
on Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
A.
Okay, I
Hey,
thought specifically.
Pyro was just more popular
So,
than you. That's
first-
just how it goes, apparently.
First things first, never mention fish on this broadcast.
only hingers. Only hingers.
Only Ings. I like this, but we should make it secret. It should be all of us have to just give each other an envelope with money in it, and
Oh.
it's just like who
This
can
is the
basically outflex
who
each
can
other.
win.
yeah.
But what is the flex if you receive the most money or if
Well,
you give
no,
the most money?
yeah, you win if you receive the most, but then you
flex if you
you're like,
give, yeah.
And I feel like someone is just gonna get like a red envelope and it's gonna have some AirPods in it, and it's just gonna be a real good time.
I love it. Sleepy Australia also suggested play. I may pronounce this incorrectly. Zhenzi, Chinese hacky sack.
No idea.
No, everyone's shaking their head, so I'm going to say I
don't
got
know
it
how to
right.
pronounce it either.
I don't
so-
know what Chinese hacky sack is, but I can get behind some
You
hacky
can
sack.
get behind some
Let's
hacky
go.
sack.
You're
That's
actually not
potentially-
bad at hacky sack. You used
Yeah.
to play ages ago. I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
When the Chiefs were in Piermont, you had a hacky sack.
Did I?
Did you have long
I think
hair
you've
as
made,
well?
I think you've made that up. No, I can just juggle a ball. I mean, I used to play
Did you
soccer,
play-
so I can juggle.
Did you play
A
soccer?
or multiple
Yeah.
bongos.
You don't take me.
Okay.
The man that's had two
Small-
broken lungs doesn't take me as the
small
exercise
small
type.
tangent.
Tell me
My
a story.
pride and glory in the soccer world. I mean, football. I'm probably offending many people right now, especially Jews. But I was backline. I was centre back, and I literally it was pissing down rain,
Mm-hmm.
and the ball just came to me, and I just boomed it. And I was a child, right? This is kids soccer,
Mm-hmm.
and it went all the way. It's like woo, and then it bounces right in front of the goalie,
Yep.
and then like skims his hand because it's wet and goes over. And I just scored from literally like my goal.
Beautiful.
And I was just like, wow.
And then you
Banger.
retired.
Yeah, and then I never played again.
How many people are watching the stream right now?
7,500 all just heard
Okay,
that story
cool. So
about
that's
Bryce.
7,500 times about 3. You owe people like 21,500 like minutes of time for telling that story.
It was a good time.
Sleepy Australia also suggested painting landscape scroll painting though. So that's the twist on the painting thing.
I like
which
that they
do
have faith in our horrible painting ability to be able to do any form of
At
different
least
painting.
someone does.
Yeah,
mate.
exactly.
You know, at least someone does. At least someone's got my back. It's not the people I work with apparently. Ray Rachu suggests zodiac horoscopes for the on-air team.
Oh, that could be scary. Oh,
What
good.
you like?
How?
Like, because like, what happens if your horoscope is like, you will die?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
or like, Order are gonna tank it this week. Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow, this horoscope is
Oddly
oddly
specific.
specific. Yeah.
And finally, at Nathan Lammy, and I like this one as well, a lantern making competition.
See, I like the last two. I think we could incorporate the last two.
Okay, so we'll do everything except for the last two.
I personally like Nick dressing up as a pig.
Yep.
And then we can do like the lantern building.
So what we should do is we should do Nick dresses up as a pig. We build lanterns whilst Nick the pig reads our horoscopes to the people watching.
every idea, just amalgamate them, and then we've got Lunar New Year.
Rusty and Pyro can play hacky sack.
And you can give me hong baos.
Okay with this, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to give them. So we just receive the money.
We just
because
receive
we're
the
busy.
money.
We're busy doing things.
And because they love us. And I heard that you only give it to people that you like.
also,
You're in love with.
they said that, and Jake said, "I'm happy to receive them from everyone," and nobody
one, yeah.
replied. The room just ignored that.
They were too
comment.
busy listening to your shit story about soccer.
All right, well, we'll see which suggestions make it through the suggestion funnel. all the way to the end of the week. Chromestone 2000 says, any giveaways today? Yes, Chromestone. Just a quick reminder about the emote competition, which is coming up in the next seg. We've been running it for a couple of days. The winner gets this HyperX Cloud Alpha headset.
Bad boy.
The two runners-up, or the best losers, will get Hex Tech chests and keys, and everybody else doesn't get anything except for the joy of participating, and you used up a little of your data bill for this month. So that is a submission for putting in an emote suggestion from the broadcast. Take a screenshot of the broadcast from sometime this split or other splits, turn it into a emote and send it in.
They're great headsets, by the way.
We
had those headsets. Rusty, you remember what happened to my version of that headset?
The rabbit attacked it.
Ted happened.
Oh, no.
Disaster.
Ted was a gremlin sometimes as well. He would actually think he's the alpha of the house and
need to hear the
legitimately
Ted
charge
story
us.
now.
And
Is
he's
this
a
still the
this
rabbit?
big.
Yeah.
I had a rabbit. They go through chords in like half a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I lost so many mice. And I also lost so many mice. The next game, Direwolves versus Order. It's up.
Yeah.
We're there.
Are we?
We're ready to go.
But that was such a quick segment.
Next segment. Let's just run through what's the word I'm looking for?
Lineup?
The lineup?
The lineup. That's what I'm looking for.
Which lineup? The
I don't know.
Direwolves
I'm still
lineup?
thinking about Bryce's stupid soccer story.
It's going to be Xerxes. No, it's going to be Charlie right there. Five Panther in the top lane. Ubisoft jungle. Get back in the mid lane. Actually, it surprised me. He's not bad. Get back. Andrew and Corpse in the bottom lane. Fondly nicknamed by Rusty the Caster. At Rusty the Caster, if you would have any feedback on his nicknames. And this is a lineup that were able to pick up a very shocking, surprising, long
Yes.
win yesterday.
Very long.
They deserve like 3 points for that victory.
Mental resilience of the Direwolves is certainly there. It was
Couple
a
of
slow
times.
game. Double Baron, double Elder, then a second double Elder. So 3 of them.
Yeah.
And so it took a while to close out the game, but eventually they did. Big upset. This is a rookie lineup, so it kind of makes sense that they don't get on stage and maybe have as much confidence as like the Chiefs 20-minute Baron end the game. You expect that going into it, but that victory, can they back it up here today again?
Yeah, and the really impressive thing from my angle was like they looked like they had fallen behind in the early game, and then like had to like scrape, battle, and claw their way back to a
Ubisoft
position.
died level 2 at Blue Buff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's just for a young team to trust the process and to get reward at 3 weeks is really good.
Well, we'll see if they can drag out another win over another 50-minute game because they are going up against Order. Bryce, talk us down. The boys from Melbourne.
Yes.
The only boys from Melbourne.
They are apparently the only boys from Melbourne. Coach Choo Choo's with a fancy new haircut is going to be pacing behind them. Tally in the top lane. Spooks and Swift are going to be in the mid and jungle duo. Dream, new 80 carry to the lineup, as is Jake rounding out the bottom lane. And they had a very good laning phase yesterday. They had some stuff that really impressed me. They had the Nami, they had the Lucian. Dream was like a dash forward culling Lucian most of the game. He made a joke to me afterwards. He's like, man, why the hell did I build Essence Reaver when all I did was cull? Like, I'd use my ulti and that was like the damage, so I didn't get to use any buttons afterwards. But yeah, those guys down the bottom lane, they did some pretty impressive stuff, and that was a good, solid game.
And I think Jake is one of those players, always has been one of those players that plays the defensive supports as well as, and the enchanters, as well as the tank line.
Yeah.
And it actually used to be that he only played enchanters and didn't play tanks, and now he's played a couple of tanks games, but he still has the Tarek, he still has the Nami, the Janna, all the, you know, old school, like, kind of memey supports, and that gives you a lot of flexibility in the bottom lane.
Not to mention, he makes great tweets. Like, after the victory, he's like, thick man plays enchanter and wins. And I'm just like, that is an absolute banger.
He is huge.
Absolute banger tweet.
That is a banger tweet. Now, a reminder that our Twitter POV stream today for this game is Ubisoft, so you can head to @OPL and check out that POV stream. Also, Marv in chat said, quick, while we have time, get Bryce to tell us another soccer story again. I just want to say, it's actually pretty cool when you score a goal in soccer, and like particularly from the other
my
end of the
goal?
field. Yeah, no, it's pretty
Incredible.
dope. So I want you to think of another story, and I'll come back to you after the next game. But now we are going to throw it over to the desk where we've got Pyra and Rusty.
I could see the life just draining from Spawn's eyes while you guys were talking about that.
Another
That was
story.
Another one. But you know, the story of this game I think is going to be a good one as well, Rusty, because there's now some hope for the Direwolves. You know, it's like that old saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? That's exactly what the Direwolves did. And a mammoth is basically just a big woolly elephant.
Right.
So they did it.
Never. All right. I'm gonna.
I'm making some leaps, my dude.
Before we talk about this game, Pyra, I do just want to say one thing. Spawn got my Twitter tag wrong. It's @RustyLols. So if you dislike my nicknames, at me there first of all.
Rusty the Caster is
My
on
Instagram.
League as well.
Yeah, and League.
Yeah, which you've already told the public
Yes.
to add you. So there's no no revealing information
There
there.
was something
but
else,
we're in
but I've
picks and bans.
forgotten it. So doesn't matter because we're in picks and
That
bans.
happens a lot when people talk to me. We got a Draven ban against Dream, as well as Aurelia and Aatrox off the board.
Yeah, Draven banned away in the first 3 bans from Order. Now, we know that Dream can play the Lucian. We also know that Dream can play things into the Lucian, it seems, the Draven ban. We've seen it once today as well. And now we're going to see a red side Silas ban with the Aatrox. And I have to say, while we're 4 bans in, just remember that Cassiopeia is left wanting right now.
Well, when certain new things have to get banned out, sometimes old ones sneak through, but not this time, as the Cassio is the 3rd ban. On blue side, though.
Yeah, it is a strong arm. The Order probably just said, I don't think you can play Cassiopeia. And they haven't banned it away, and Direwolves are like, nope, you're right, we have to get rid of it. So it's gone, and now, of course, Order, they get themselves an extra target ban if they would like. Aatrox and Urgot can both be removed from them if they ultimately want to get rid of that very boring top lane matchup, which they do, and they take it away from BioPanther.
So, the question is, what will BioPanther end up playing? We'll find out after this, because Lucian gets locked in first for Andrew, and it looks like we might be in for a blind Scion.
Yeah, with the Urgot gone, I am very curious to see where BioPanther goes. If Scion gets taken from him, they may be trying to pinch that top lane champion pool. Not that he doesn't have options, of course. We just need to see where he goes into those deep pockets that BioPanther has got. And the Lucian's there. No Draven counterpick available for Dream, so I am very curious to see where they go for the bot lane of Order. Of course, with Lucian locked in, they could go for a support now. They could go for a jungler now. They could even try and match AD carries with a Kai'Sa as an early lock.
All right. Well, we've been seeing a couple of Camille's come out of the jungle. It looks like Spooks will be joining that number for now as they lock that power pick in. Order are having a pretty good couple of weeks, though. They are currently 3-0 since week 2.
It's a big old bounce back from them, I'll say that much is for certain. Of course, now we're going to be matching junglers from the side of the Direwolves, and a mid laner locked in here as well. Direwolves as a 3-man unit have revealed their lanes, and they revealed that the Lucian isn't getting flexed into the mid lane, and with no hesitation, Order lock in a big combo.
Yeah, they do. Now, we haven't talked as much about it today, but on patch 9.2, Galio did receive some nerfs. Do you think this is going to, hurt what Swiffer wants to do on this champion?
I've spoken to a couple of people about this. I still think that Galio is very strong, but really, what got nerfed on him was a lot of damage. And the fact that he is still pickable, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people, just shows how overburdening he was prior to this patch. I think 9.2 has actually brought him closer to being back in line. But a lot of the time now, because Lucian is so powerful, you have to respect those mid lane counter picks as an availability, and then you can go for it. It's not blind pickable like Alessandra often is, but instead now it has got conditions to be met, which I like a lot more for a champion in a draft phase.
And it does seem like they're kind of setting themselves up to bring down the hammer here. I mean, you look at the 3 champions Order have already picked, and they all have ways to get in your face.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be very forward-based champions. Of course, Lucian can sit back and culling if necessary. Order, with their 2 bans right now, have removed 2 support options. I'm curious to see where Corporal goes at this point. You don't often see him go deep in his champion pool. Alistar and Braum are 2 of his staples. If he can play the Thresh, that may be something that you would expect to see from him, but we don't know just how good or bad his Thresh is right now, because he may go to something like a Rakan.
Yeah. For Direwolves' part, they're focusing on banning out Dreams champions. The Kai'Sa joins the Ezreal there, and it's back over to Order. So you'd think that the AD carry will come up here as they're... Well, maybe they'll just take a support instead, actually.
And I think there is a world where instead of that Galio lock-in, they could have went straight for the Kai'Sa. Not a lot of teams seem to have a big priority placed on the Galio as a pick still in 9.2. So there's a chance they could have let that one through, maybe surprise them. Thresh, of course, going to be taken away, but...
It's a takeaway from Corporal.
Absolutely is a takeaway from a strong 2v2 bottom lane down there. Lucian Thresh is always dangerous, but at the same time, back to my point, they've gone for the Galio third. They've left open the possibility that a lot of AD carries get banned away from them, and now Lucian locked, Draven, I guess Cassiopeia as well, Ezreal and Kai'Sa have been taken off the map. Dream has to show something a little bit deeper in the depths of his champion pool.
Ooh. We got a Swain. That's going to be likely over in the
top
hands
lane
of BioPanther. So now we get the answer to that burning question. What does Corporal grab from the bottom of his champion pool?
He's going for
Fiddlesticks!
the Scarecrow.
All right. We got ourselves a couple of crows here in the last few picks.
Yeah, wants a bit more lane dominance, but he doesn't know what his AD carry opponent will be playing. We'll see if it's something like a Sivir and they go for a weaker bot side, but Sivir isn't always the best of champions to go down against that. There's not a lot of options, honestly, for him that you would like to see. Vayne is very risky in matchups like this as well. Xayah does seem to make the most sense, but Fiddlesticks can prey upon a Xayah fairly easily at level 6 onwards. You can force the ultimate with your own, and having that down means that Lucian could potentially do super well in some trades. I would say for Order, they've got a very good front-to-back type of composition. The crux of it, of course, should be very glaringly obvious in that it's the jungle and the mid lane duo. It has been said for Order Pyra that if you give them Galio, you lose the game. That's a big risk that Direwolves have taken here.
We'll see how well that rings true. Direwolves coming off the back of their first win. It was a 55-minute grinder that finally resulted in them getting a victory over Mammoth. Can they do it again? Can they stack another one? This young team, mostly comprised of OCS players, coming up here. It's still going to be a hard mountain to climb. Order is still looking like a solid team, and they have a lot of momentum on their side, as I was saying. 3 wins under their belt since their 0-2 first week. And it is a powerful team composition that they've built for themselves. Ways to get in the faces, signature pick of the Galio, but is up against the Wolfpack. We'll see what they can do.
Yeah, they've got the trifecta here, Order, looking for the quaddie, see if they can actually lock that one down. Be consistent as well is a very important part. We'll see if they're able to lock it down and get 2 weeks back-to-back undefeated for, I would say, a resurgent Direwolves, but I mean, it's very easy to say that when they got one win.
But still, they were 0-4, and Direwolves had close games as well. We'll get into that in a minute because we're going to be joined on the desk here by the coach of Order. It is Choo Choo's once again. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it certainly has to feel pretty good to have stacked 3 wins up right now. And I know you've talked at length before about, kind of taking each opponent seriously no matter what their record would suggest. Did you do anything special to prepare for Direwolves today?
Yes. Direwolves draft a very similar way to what we do. I think a lot of teams are actually doing that at the moment. They played Kaiser Lissandra yesterday, so they prioritized a strong team fight. I think we beat them in draft this game because, they don't have a lot of engaged threats. So I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. But definitely preparing for them has been much more difficult than I anticipated.
And a lot of the flexibility you have as well in your draft phase was leaving the cast open, being able to ban things from top lane, in this case, Aatrox and Urgot, of course, you got rid of. But in this case, did you expect something like a Swain out of Biopanther? Seems like he was pushed into something very different.
I forgot who asked me yesterday, I think, but someone told me, I've always come on to the interview, and they've always picked a champion that we didn't see coming.
Oh, really?
Swain is... Yeah, we did not see Swain coming at all. This is probably just a comfort pick. I mean, once Urgot and Aatrox were down, and the Sign is usually the best top laner after that, and then you'll see other top laners will go to comfort. So Swiper will go to Rumble, Biopanther here goes to Swain.
And speaking towards your team, last time you were on here with myself, we mentioned that maybe if you give Swift a Galio, it's GG type of strength, but Galio did see some changes between patches, and very clearly for you guys, it doesn't seem like it's had pushed him out of the meta at all, or is it because he has the Camille this case?
It's, well, yeah, they did give us the Camille, which is the ideal combo. It's certainly not as strong as it used to be, but it's still such a threat, especially into when you're drafting things like the Lissandra, Swain, and Fiddlesticks.
I think that's certainly fair. So just considering the fact that you guys have so much momentum going right now, how confident are you that you'll be able to continue to stack these wins week over week?
I don't know. It's like we got 0-2'd in week 1, and that really made us realize that this is a very close split. So we have to take every single week, especially every single best of 1, where we will see Riven and Swain and these picks that we're not familiar with. So I feel like there's a lot more on the line. You have to put in a lot of work for every single team, especially since you're playing 2 teams every week.
On that note as well, before we let you go, how has the transition been to best of 1 for you as a coach personally?
It's very interesting. I knew it would be interesting, but it's definitely made us consider that we will get cheese and we have to be prepared for it. So when we go into a game with our draft, our ideal scenario, and we create our scenarios, we do have to take into account all the outliers, and that means we have that means we have to do a lot of research to the people we're versing, or if they're playing in solo queue. So it's just a lot more research and preparation.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much for joining us once again, Choo Choos.
No
worries.
worries.
Back to the team.
Thank you.
All right. So as we've gotten underway, it's been mostly love taps in solo lanes.
A bit of chunks here and there, nothing too crazy. Just, I would say actually a lot of the lanes themselves just being able to trade as you would expect. Fiddlesticks will sit down in this bottom lane, throw his E off cooldown whenever he can to get some harass. Of course, running the spell thieves would indicate that.
Yeah, it's like a nice goulash of a laning phase. It's mostly watery, but there's a bit of chunk in there.
Yeah, that, you know what? That does work. There is definitely chunks to be seen in the lane, Spyro. Don't let me contest the analogy.
I'm just glad I got that one off.
I'm not, but you did get a... That's all that is for you. We'll move on.
I've got quite an obnoxious amount of soup-based analogies. I'm not really sure where that came from, but that's okay. Early game starts. Do we expect that the Direwolves would probably have another long game as well? You have to think Order are going to want to try and prevent that because they clearly seem comfortable.
I mean, that's actually a very good question to raise. Will the Direwolves have another long game? If the Direwolves are ahead, I think the answer should be pretty definitively that yes, they will slow the game down. But I want to say that in contrast to that, think back to Order's game yesterday against Legacy, and that was a slow game. They took the minimum in every victory that they got. And granted, I will say that Order played a mostly clean game in that. It was still very slow and very methodical from them, really trying to find their footing and not going too far forward, respecting their opponents.
Well, and I think a lot of it was up in that top lane matchup as well. Tally was faced off against a Riven, and they did everything they could to try and neutralize what can be these crazy highlight reel grabbing solo queue threats. The likes of that. And, you know, now he's up against a Swain, who is another champion that, you know, again, Choo-Choo's admittedly they didn't quite see coming after so many champions were kind of banned out of BioPanther's pool.
Quick secret, the LPL has played Swain. It's JD Gaming, I believe. But,
There you go.
It's not often seen, and it's still a pocket pick, and I think only people that used to main the champion would even consider it as an option, and it seems like Direwolves definitely have had that consideration.
Last time I remember seeing Swain, he was a bot laner, so, yeah. Take from that what you will. Swiffer.
Ooh, they blocked him.
Ooh, interrupting the Justice Punch, but Udasop taking a lot of damage. Flashes both ways. First blood taken by Get Back, and Udasop getting away. It's a double kill for Get Back.
And at 5 minutes, the Direwolves are suddenly 2-0 up. That's not something you would ever expect to see, but the Camille and the Galio, they have been cleanly bested by a double Darksteel lane where the Lissandra now gets 2 kills and rockets through it.
I think that was surprising for everybody. You saw Get Back in the camera there. He just had a look of surprise on his face. And he's got double Darksteels with 4 stacks at this point.
And Order could have chosen to back away from that fight. That's the weird thing about that one. You know, the taunt misses, and then they try and dash their way out to safety, and it's just blocked. And so the fight was on, and it wasn't a fight that they necessarily chose to have unless the taunt had connected. But they hold those summoner spells, and then Spooks tries to flash forwards to, you know, redeem the situation a little bit more, perhaps. And that was where it really went sideways for them. Could have been better for Order.
Certainly could have been. I think Udasop managing to make an escape as well was still pretty impressive, too. Bit of a chase back and forth either way. Found in the bottom lane. Andrew has been doing a pretty good job of trying to freeze out the lane, but Dream will be able to pick these up. Has a slight CS advantage in this early game.
And I will say, speaking towards Udasop as well, whilst he does survive and the flash is down, there is a time and a place where you'd be like, all right, I've had enough of this redemption build. It's a good hook, actually.
Oh, yeah, it is. Corporal takes a heaping helping of damage. The Ignite is on, but Andrew immediately turns onto Dream. Jake trying to body block for him.
There's just something in the water in the Direwolves camp today. I think they're really feeling themselves. The Aftershock keeps the Fiddlesticks alive. Of course, that extra resistances that you get from a targeted piece of crowd control helps him survive. And Andrew dashing forwards, being the aggressor in that lane is something that you like to see out of Direwolves. They're feeling really reinvigorated.
Yeah, they're looking great right now. Side note, I always thought it was a little bit odd that single target CC is still called CC.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit of a misnomer.
Just don't really know what else to call it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
I mean, a
single
lot
target
of
stun is too much.
A lot of league terms kind of come from like tradition, right? Like creep score.
Yeah,
know?
it's not.
CS. There's no creeps. Those are minions. That's an old Dota term.
No, that's true. I mean, that's esports for you and gaming in general.
That's true. Meanwhile, up towards the top side, Tally giving a healthy distance of respect.
Yeah, but note that it's also a kleptomancy Swain.
Oh,
so you'll see all these trades, and then you see a whole lot of money, and he's
Demonic
committing.
Ascension. He goes for the chase in, and he's actually just going to tank up that one.
He needs to hit the E.
Okay, Vision of Empire there. Tally is forced to flash away.
Very
Good signs here for BioPanther.
Yeah, and he's going to be ahead in gold as well from all the kleptomancy stacks that he'll start to accrue as Sion builds tanky. He has to stand in the minion wave to clear it. Swain's just going to make some serious bank. Mid lane's got 2 kills. Ubisoft's now got some control and some tempo in the jungle. They steal away a blue. And the map starts to shift towards Direwolves almost holistically.
They've got vision control. They've got a 2,000 gold lead. A lot of that on the Lissandra. Yeah, things definitely coming up aces right now. Let's see if they can and how they can really start to snowball this forward.
And this is where you look for the composure of Order. You know, one thing that Spawn mentioned, and you can tell from Order as a brand at the moment, discipline is the name of the game for them a lot of the time. It's not a significant enough lead that Direwolves will close it out. We know that Direwolves, in their last victory, took a very long time to close it out. That means that there are windows of opportunities. That means that as the map ebbs and flows for strong sides and weak sides, objectives spawn, there's a chance Order makes the plays, and they well and truly still have those opportunities that will present themselves. It's can they be disciplined enough to take the plays and not commit to something poor instead?
Well, this will be that trial for them. Really a crucible. However, Order have shown in the past that they're certainly more than up to that challenge. Trying to slow down the pace of this game. Stop the Direwolves from finding any more answers here. Not let that gold lead grow any further.
And for
And you can see the vision's gotten back. It's gone back in favor of Order on bottom side.
Absolutely. They've still got control of this bottom lane. You know, I'm not saying that it's entirely Direwolves' map. The 2v2 down here still seems to be doing quite well for themselves. Ignite's about to be up for Jake, and that means there's a bit of extra kill threat as well onto Andrew and onto Corporal. But there are 4 summoners down there, so a kill is going to be a bit of a fleeting dream. What you would be looking at, though, is the Galio-Camille combo. They've crested over to the level 6 point. You'd be waiting on their flash timers, and then I would say that's the big moment where they really start to look for plays again on the map, because your big win condition, not having summoner spells, and being down in your lane makes things very hard.
And that's the tried and tested combo for Order as well, so it's a level of comfort for them. You talk about also the experience that they bring to bear, and that's comprised of the long-standing members of Order. You know, Tally, Spooks, and Swiffer. They kind of all stayed together when just about every team in the OPL just got blown up and turned into something new.
And there's no more long-standing duo than Spooks and Swiffer. Spooks was on a team with me, actually, I think, and then he started duo queuing with Swiffer and enjoyed the man's company way too much.
So,
and then left me.
You're still not salty about it.
No, I'm not salty about it, actually. He made the correct choice.
There you go. Speaking of right choices, BioPanther's certainly making this Swain look good.
Absolutely.
Just turns into a big demon crow and scares Tally away. It takes a lot to scare a big zombie with an axe.
And granted, he's not using that second ultimate for kill threat. He still had 5 stacks, and I think at this stage, he can use that just for health return in laning phase. He's got a catalyst. He's going to constantly sustain in this lane quite well, and he's just making more money. So the longer he can be there, the longer he can get auto attacks off. Maybe he finds himself a sly sack of gold here and there, a cheeky bit of extra income. Let alone the 5 that he gets per auto attack. He's feeling real comfortable in that top lane.
Yeah. Swain's certainly not lacking for a whole lot of gold. This mid lane, though, I was wondering if we'd start to see a little bit more action around here. You could actually see Corporal roaming up, but he doesn't actually end up doing anything except placing a few wards down. Jake is kind of matching him on the position through the river.
Jake, a very good roamer, actually. He loves his way up river constantly. I think it might be why he plays Nami so much, but he knows where to be, when to be there, usually with these roams from bot to mid. And now they've actually brought everyone down towards the bottom side instead, and the fight's on.
Looks like it. It's going to be Andrew kind of pulled back in. That Hextech ultimatum. He's going to be going down. It's Dream that picks up the final shot on him, and Spooks is going to fall. No, he's not. He actually gets out of harm's way. And Corporal is a little bit too late on that Crow Storm.
Yeah, Get Back actually holds his ultimate. They're turning on him.
Oh, 1-2. How do you do? Looking for Get Back. Going golden once again. Just enough time for Udasoft to go through. Get Back going to flash away, but the hook still lands onto the Fiddlesticks. And Udasoft finds himself without a whole lot of allies here as the Ragnarok runs short. Order managed to survive entirely and pick up a kill besides.
And I can't help but feel like that was an execution error from the side of Direwolves. There's nothing you can do if you're Andrew. You just die to the Camille Galio combo because the hook shot had connected. Fair enough. But Get Back teleports. He comes in. He manages to dodge some of the crowd control and then doesn't use his ultimate onto Spooks. Tries to maybe hold it for follow-up kills or survivability and instead gets nothing from it and just has to disengage. Really rough there from the Direwolves in that trade execution-wise.
Yeah, I think that was a good example of Order kind of holding their nerve a little bit and playing on the edge, really, of what could have been a big swing once again for the Direwolves, but the execution proved better. They got the kill onto a crucial member. Dream now has one. It helps him buy his Storm Razors, and all of a sudden, that bottom lane is starting to look better for Order.
I just philosophically believe, you know, if you hold your ultimate, you don't get a kill, especially in a competitive game, then you just made a big mistake. You know, like, you can throw out that ultimate. It's not even a flash. You just throw out the ultimate, lock down that kill, and you get so much more on the map than, like, trying to maximize. Sometimes it's better to just secure what is there instead of going for, you know, the penta hunting style, as I, for some reason, have been referring to it today.
Penta Hunt just sounds like, it just sounds like a 90s, like, SNES Japanese game. I wouldn't be surprised to find out it actually is one. Direwolves, though, still holding on to this lead in the gold game. You can see Dream and Jake are getting a little bolder, though, as they push waves in.
Gold's just so confusing in this patch. Order, of course, they're holding the Tri-Bush. They're trying to get a pick off if Direwolves choose to roam, but they know they're on the weak side. Galio's missing. Camille's missing. If they step up for this wave, it will collapse on them like a ton of bricks, but they know something's up. Something's fishy. They just see Galio now on your mini-map, walking towards mid, so they know Camille's down here. Watch what Ubisoft does in response. He may start Herald immediately on just seeing the Galio by using that information.
Yeah, great use of map vision for Direwolves here. Spooks is actually going to go back up towards the mid side, but look at where Get Back is playing towards the safe side of the map. Should be going up to join Ubisoft, taking the Rift Herald.
Yeah, Spooks wants to check it. We'll see if he gets there and how much health is there on the Herald. It looks like he'll well and truly be there in time.
They're going to have to turn this fight. Justice Punch going in, looking for that shield of Durand. He does get caught. Get Back, that is, and in comes Tally to pick up Ubisoft, and it is an all-out brawl here, and even the Rift Herald's getting involved as Spooks is getting chunked lower and lower, but Biopanther is caught between three. He's taunted up, and Direwolves overestimated their ability to scrap.
And he's absolutely dead, Biopanther. 3 people for 0 is the trade. In Order, they see the Herald being started, and this is where the discipline comes into play. Direwolves could have backed away if they wanted. The second that he had to use his claw in mid lane, it was clear that the Order roster was coming towards them, and they choose to take the fight anyway, and they're made to pay for it. The Redemption doesn't do enough damage to win it.
Now, all of a sudden, Order pretty much put themselves bang on even in gold. As you said, gold's a little bit confusing, and it's a tempo advantage, big time now for Order in this game. And Direwolves are going to have to maybe go back to a little bit more of a slower pace of play after that.
Yeah, and all that kleptomancy that you put in the top lane, all that effort, auto-attacking a Scion, and now he's got a gold lead.
You know what does better than kleptomancy, Rusty? Kills.
That's true.
Tally's got 2 of them. He's added 2 to his tally.
Yeah, and a 450 bounty for himself as well. I mean, at the end of the day, Order, they did bounce back from what was only 2 kills, I will say, at the start of their game, but a very impactful 2 kills if they go straight onto a mid laner. You see the trade that happens bottom, could have been 3. You see the trade that happens at the Herald, probably didn't even need to happen, but Direwolves almost get a kill again onto Spooks. There could have been 4 kills in this game for Direwolves, but now they're just left wanting.
Well, Order's also done a great job at minimizing some of their losses, right? This goes back into that composure that you talk about. Now they've decided to make the group happen. Looks like it's all 5 members in the mid lane. Rift Herald is going to be summoned as well, so, you know, make that 6 effectively. And, yeah, Get Back knows there's not a whole lot of chance of holding on to this tower.
He may actually still be able to hold this. Order have just completely dissipated, so they take the charge and they call it a one and done here from Shelly.
Yeah, I thought it was high tide, but the wave didn't crash very hard.
They abandon their comrade.
The crab.
And they just go back to their side lanes. Of course, they didn't have a whole host of side lane control. You can see that Tally's clearing waves top lane, and everyone was seemingly missing from Direwolves. Of course, it could have been from base, so Order don't have vision, or they have good control of the river.
I was about to say, it seemed like maybe they feared a collapse or something, and that's why they didn't go for the commitment.
Sometimes a reset's the best way to dodge vision.
Well, as it stands, Direwolves still holding on to all of their towers. Spooks is going to look to solo out this dragon. It is in the dark right now, but Ubisoft steps through a ward. Should know that something is up. I don't know if it's really worth trying to get in there and fight over, but maybe he can throw a cheeky axe and catch Spooks out instead. It's not going to happen.
And right in his face, the dragon is slain. Now we swap over to a mountain, so Dragon 2 is going to be a juicy one. And Direwolves are running the Redemption, Olaf. It could have actually been more aggressive, perhaps the Black Cleaver build if he was really feeling himself, but he's going to go towards the team fighting option. And the reason I say team fighting is that it's not the best item, but it is cheap, and if you have a lot of people grouping up fighting, you heal a lot of people, and that's when it's worth it. That's when Redemption is super strong. But if you get stuck in a 1v1 against Spooks right now, you're just really relying on the fact that you're an Olaf to survive that trade, not that you've got a redemption compared to a finished Warriors and Champ.
Everything from the Direwolves does kind of point to we want to be able to take sustained fights because they've all got tools to keep themselves healthy. You know, and it's not as much in the way of burst, right? It seems like they kind of want to get into these longer scraps that maybe Order won't be happy with. Order, for their part, have the big Wombo combo with Spooks and Swiffer.
I always find comps like this funny. Like, when you look at the Direwolves team composition, they don't have a dedicated tank, but you feel like they do for so many different reasons. First of all, a Fiddlesticks and a Lissandra have Aftershock, and Lissandra has her ultimate, right? So very hard to kill. They'll eventually get a Zonia's on her and on Swain, who is very tanky when he presses R. So none of these champions are tanks, but they can last a long time in a team fight if they're standing in the front, soaking up that damage. So that's how they'll play their style of fight. But if they get picked, you know, if a hook connects, a taunt connects before they can get an Aftershock off, or a taunt or an ultimate off, or a Zonia's, then they're not tanky, and they actually die very quick.
And Jake has been pretty solid on the hooks today. He's not been given as many opportunities because Direwolves are really respecting it. And after a couple of really clutch ones, you can't really blame him.
Ooh, good dash, actually. Good respect there from Andrew. Didn't want to risk the last half second of his recall. Chooses to stay in lane, however, forced, I would say, by Jake. And they get the push in order, so they still control this bottom side of the map.
And Spooks is coming as well. Looks like this should probably be the tower here. Andrew and Corporal still trying to clear out, forcing the dash away. That's going to be it. Yep. Just with attack sweep. Order will finally find a turret. That's number one. Dream playing very far forward. This guy's got the eye of the tiger this game.
He's got the Thresh Lantern behind him anyway. Worst case scenario, there's not a lot of things that can stop him from getting on that Lantern. If Fiddlesticks is in vision, then he's not using his Crow Storm onto you. So that's usually the nature of that lane. Dream playing very well this week, I will say as well. I've been quite impressed by him going forwards, being aggressive as a player, knowing that Jake's there to trust him, especially when you've got the Nami matchup. You have to trust your Nami's heals and communicate well with your support.
I think Order definitely has a lot of impressive things to say, but we can say a lot of impressive things about their bottom lane as well, and they are the newer guys coming in for the team. They've definitely shown that they're worthy of praise, just like the rest of the squad. This is going to be tower number 2 as well. And there's a lot of trust there between Dream and Jake.
Yeah, there's no trading from Direwolves during all of this. Order just walk from bottom, they get the turret, they bring everyone up to mid, and then it just goes down as well. No response available. They push in top lane, but Tally's going to drift his way up there, and there even a bit of damage from that wave actually goes onto the turret itself. Just clean movements around the map from Order. The response from Direwolves not there.
Yeah, it seems like all that killer instinct that they had earlier on in this game is kind of evaporated here. Now, Andrew does move up towards the top in the lane swap, and he's caught Tally a little bit unawares. Udasoft running through. There's the full channel calling, and Tally's a dead man walking. Down he goes. That's shutdown gold given to Andrew, and he's going to be very thankful for it.
Yeah, thank you for the shutdown gold. I'm sure they will say. And not even using the flash, though, is Tally. Recognition that he is dead from that point. Maybe could have flashed earlier to survive, but chooses not to in the position when Udasoft arrives. Is Olaf with the ultimate as well.
Yep.
As mid lane.
Oh, get back. Yeah, so I was saying that the killer instinct was kind of gone, but I think just sort of watching and waiting and finding an opportunity. Direwolves do get one.
Yeah, I don't think it's gone by any means. I actually just think that they really struggled to break the map or open it up to find those opportunities. And they finally do. They get some damage on the top lane turret, but they can't even break it because Order is here quickly. So this is one of those cases of they need to be careful.
Very quickly. Oh, the flash forward Hex Deck ultimatum. And Spooks and Swiffer go crashing down a little bit too early as Corporal turns around with the Crow Storm. Fight is on right now, and it looks like it's going to be a 4v5 for Direwolves. Can they take the fight? They've got the battered and bruised, and Biopanther going forward. Forces the flash away from Dream. It is actually Direwolves calling the shots in this one as everybody is running around like headless chickens. Order getting forced back.
Yeah, Order get pushed off the turret. Biopanther with the teleport. I thought at first this was a case of Direwolves doing too many things at once on the map, but they get the bottom lane turret. The timing of Order getting here is perfect for the teleport to come in, and no one can dent the armor of Biopanther on that Swain. He is just full health from start to finish, and he is murderous. He does so much damage.
Yeah. All that money in the bank's been converted into a handful of items right now. 10 stacked Rod of Ages and the Zhonya's Hourglass. Here's the fight again. Spooks kind of goes in a little early, and the Galio ultimate doesn't quite land where it needs to.
Yeah, and he hits the Olaf with his ultimate. Spooks, I think he might have wanted the Fiddlesticks there. Nevertheless, Fiddlesticks does go down. but Dream has a very hard time dealing with Bio Panther. Just look at the healing from this guy as well. If Swiffer didn't get the taunt off, Dream was dead, but he'll settle for Jake instead. During all of this, Get Back survives a whole lot of time, and I can't help but look at a fight like that and say it's super good for Direwolves. Their front line playing very well, but a bit of a mechanical misexecution from their opponents gives them that easy chance.
Cheeky axe thrown in by Udasoft, try and get a Miracle Steal off. You're right, Direwolves, they're playing what they needed to. We talked about the sustain ability of just about all of their champions, and it came in handy there. Yeah, Corporal died, but that's fine. He's a support. That's okay if you get a couple of other members of Order at the same time, and all of a sudden, Gold Game's back in there. It's a little bit of tempo advantage as they knock down a tower up top.
And this is exciting. Direwolves didn't look very good in the first 2 weeks, but they have come in this week and they have beaten teams, they've beaten Mammoth, and now they're holding their own against Order.
It is
if
great.
nothing else, this is just exciting.
You're definitely not wrong, Rusty, and I think I want to point to the fact that Direwolves, even in their losses, still had close games. They were just kind of missing a few pieces of the puzzle to really push it further than 1 or 2 advantages, but they seem to have started to find that, and the mantra of this team has been trust the process. We're starting to see it bear some fruit.
Certainly are. Of course, this game has hit an almost stalemate point, however.
Not for a lack of action.
Not for a lack of action, not for a lack of trying from the teams as well beyond that, but with this lull moment, you've got the mid lane outer turret available for Order. So they have got a lot of control of the map in comparison for just vision placement alone. But Direwolves have control of the river through a lot of the placement of their players and champions on the Rift as well. You can see most of them hovering that river area. Spooks, Swiffer, they're on the bottom side of the lane, perhaps looking closer towards the dragon area, but it feels more like getting a pick before they get the vision, as he just hook shots the corner of that wall there. Gives it a, how you going, Queen's Wave, and leaves. Not sure why it's the Queen's Wave. He was Spider-Manning, actually, I think the technical term is.
Thanks for educating us on the exact nature of how Spooks was moving about.
When Camille presses E and doesn't hop off the wall, she is Spider-Manning.
Yeah, just waiting there,
Also, the reason that I have that nickname is because there was a counter pick for top lane Camille, and it was singed.
Ah.
And the way that counter pick works is every time she hooks onto the wall, you just throw the glue at the wall.
Yeah.
And then she literally gets stuck, which is why I called it Spider-Manning.
But that's like an involuntary Spider-Man.
Well, yeah.
That's like when Spider-Man throws webbing at you and you're like, well, I guess I'm stuck for 2 hours
I don't think
now.
Spider-Man intended to be Spider-Man, to be fair. He didn't walk up to the spider and say, bite me. So I think we'll just go
Maybe he
with
did. Maybe he was being snarky.
He was feeling it that day.
Yeah, definitely. I think Spooks has been feeling some of these
That's a
engages
big
for
move.
sure. Big move. I like that half my lingo is the internet. Speaking of, Spooks is feeling Get Back here. Swiffer on the Shield of Duran. Sinks the taunt. Justice punch in. Get Back buying a lot of time for Udasoft to come in here, and they turned it into a 2v2. Get Back
no.
sneaking out with the claw.
And the Redemption doesn't even heal him. He just does not die. You've got an Aftershock available. The amount of health that you gain back. And at the end of the day, they don't get the kill, but the Olaf was nearby to save the day regardless. No overchase to be seen. They call it a trade. They call it a day. And a no teleport Get Back, but a teleport up from Swiffer means that they can afford to look at moves like that and still respond on the rest of the map.
Yeah, that's true. Order sniffing opportunistically just as much as the Wolfpack have been. Now, at what point in the game does Baron become the theater of war here, Rusty? After this tower goes down?
For most... Yo, hang on.
Oh, wait a second. Dream!
Ooh.
Oh, boy. He almost bought it on that one.
The turret has got to bite the bullet, though, in lieu of Dream not dying. Very good use of his ultimate, seeing the Crow Storm, seeing rather the E. Is it Dark Wind? The E in the air.
Drain, I think, is on E, but Dark Wind is... I don't know, it's been a while since
The
I played
purple
Fiddle.
Crow was coming at him, all right?
Yeah.
So he ulted, and he's
Dark
going to
Wind.
survive, but the turret does go down.
Yeah.
And Direwolves buy back a whole lot more control on Summoner's Rift. Your question was, when will they look at Baron? Well, if you are the Direwolves, remember that they've got the Blade of the Ruin King composition, so they will do a significant amount of damage to it. They will be able to take it down fairly quickly. But really, for me, it feels like the name of the game is get a kill before you consider the objective. The only time they'd look at the objective itself is like maybe to sneak it away, but nothing more than that. There's not even vision control on it just yet. No control was there to block or deny Order any control.
That is the safe way to play it as well. And, you know, I think big credit to Direwolves that this never does seem like a team that makes rash and uninformed decisions with regards to making plays like that. And that's usually the case of younger players. Direwolves just aren't quite like that, and I think you can kind of credit the organization imposing that level of discipline to them.
Yeah, perhaps that is the case. Of course, I can't say exactly what it would be for them.
I'm guessing, to be clear,
But, you know, most players, most young rookies, especially the ones that you could label as over-aggressive at moments, tend to be the ones that you see with an experienced roster, not a group of rookies. And I think the reason that it may be the opposite here for the Direwolves is they've just got all rookies. Let's get back.
Ooh. Let's see if he makes another miracle escape. He whiffs on the claw, forced to burn flash. But he does get away here, so get back is proving very true to his name.
He is very hard to kill. It has been proven absolutely true from the Galio and the Camille, but they are putting some hurt on him still. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, if you get the jump on him, you can kill him. But if he gets a W off beforehand, unkillable because of the aftershock that's there, follows through with his ultimate. But
he's got a Zanius to boot as well, so if he ends up buying time for the team.
They do force the flash. They didn't force the teleport, though there was a potential that they could have perhaps. End of the day, it's just another reset. And that gives Direwolves the time to move over to the Dragon.
Yep. Another Ocean Drake, a little bit of regeneration available. This is going to really bolster what Direwolves already do well, which is kind of heal up after some of these scraps and get right back into it. Of course, it is out of combat healing, but a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They get back into it. They're probably going to have a great time.
You really need to stop saying get back into it, because I can't hear it.
It's so hard. I'm not even doing it on purpose.
Yeah. And when the Chiefs play, we say only too much.
Now come on, that doesn't even count.
Ah, it does now.
There's going to be a player named The, and we're all going to get mega
Oh,
tilted.
no, there better not be.
Get back is moving over onto this red buff. Order's actually the ones that have worked to establish and maintain Baron vision control for a while now. 30 minutes on the game clock. We asked a while ago about if this was going to be another long Direwolves game. I think it's probably fair to say it will.
I feel like we got exactly what we expected regarding game pacing. Just perhaps not the fact that Direwolves are at a gold advantage at 30 minutes. You know, I think that's the one thing that will surprise most people. Because as it stands on this map, they are well and truly in this game. The next team fight will most likely be the one that blows the map open or blows the game wide open. And with the big objective now just being the Baron, this is where the game does slow down a lot. The tango, the dance that happens around the Baron pit, the wrestling for vision and control. It's an ever-constant battle between both teams until something breaks. And this is where you have to look at the resolve of Direwolves. Can they keep up with the resilience and the patience of the Order squad, and how diligent they will be with their vision control and placement?
Crucial will also be those level 16s. A handful of players have already started to hit them.
Classic technique, by the way. You place a regular ward, then you put a control ward on top of it. They won't think it's warded. Like right now, Order will think that that bush that they're hovering around doesn't have vision in it.
Little advantages. Mind games.
Direwolves could always potentially use that.
Still ebb and flow in the mid lane.
Look, you can see it. Spooks, he thinks it's clear. He's on.
Speaking of clear, Udasoft kind of caught up in that Hextech ultimatum. There's the combo. Udasoft forced to flash away into the Ragnarok. That's the tool burn, though. It's get back into all 5 members. Redemption coming through, and it's a Crow Storm for Corporal. Ka-ka-ka-ka! And they're going to find Tally as well as he takes the pain train out of the station, but that train is canceled.
Yeah, Direwolves get the kills. One person goes down, though. It's not a big teamfight victory, too, of course, with Tally dying. Dream, he's still hunting, still wants to get the HP bars lower.
But
the
there's no
Direwolves
smite
have started the Baron. I don't know if they can contest this one too successfully yet, but the hook's on.
That's going to be get back this time. He gets taunted up. Nowhere for him to go. He's deleted off the map, but all of a sudden, that second wind's kind of running short there as Corporal manages to get a kill. They have stopped Direwolves from doing this Baron.
They've managed to disengage as well, but Udi really wants this kill. He's going to get it.
Yep.
Oh, he's not.
Oh! What a beautiful lantern by Jake.
Good communication from Order in the 2v2. They survive. Once again, the game does not actually change too drastically. It does look like a full team reset, but note that the control, note that the vision is still there with Direwolves, and they've got the momentum on this map now. That little bit of gold lead they had just stretches a bit more, and they're starting to get very confident.
Inch by inch, they keep moving it forward, but kudos to Order for stopping that Baron from happening, stopping The momentum.
Dream doesn't even use summoners. He just knows the lantern is there from Drake. Like, that is just brilliant communication from those two.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
you
that
can
was
take
a great
while
play.
you're ulted.
And he
So
must
they
have
are
been.
low.
It must have been the split second after he fell back to the ground.
Oh, I think he took it while he was flying.
Can he actually do that? Okay.
Yeah. Bit of a
Today I learned.
TIL.
I like the combos that Direwolves have been doing, though. Once they know that the Swiffer Spooks combo is burnt.
They've done the wardy thing again.
Is that the technical term, Rusty?
It is now. They've
wardy
placed,
thing.
You see that bush just above us. We're
Yeah.
watching Andrew, never mind. Back to Tally.
Good play-by-play.
My bad.
It's fine. It's going to be a little bit slow. You know, we have these fights that are very close, meaning that the game kind of resets in terms of who pushes what and where.
We have a lot of games like this, and I will say that I'm not going to say it's underappreciated, but it's an art that needs to be learned by a lot of commentators is what the heck do you talk about if it goes super slow forever? Now,
things.
we have had action in this game, so this is not one of those cases, but feel free to tweet at us if you want any big discussion topics. I'm happy to talk about it as long as it's a good one.
You can check your Twitter while
I will.
we're in downtime.
At Rusty Lol,
Yeah. Also at Pyrotechnics.
but I'll check Twitter, I guess.
You check Twitter for topics. I will talk about the game state and how BioPanther is 1v1ing Tally.
actually
Speaking of
two down
1v1,
here.
it's Spooks comboing up, and
Oh,
that
that's
is a
three.
big Demon Crow, but I don't know if he can last long enough. Udasoft
Oh, I
coming to
feel
try
like
and
he
even
can.
these odds up. They're turning it around. Look at how big BioPanther is, but not big enough. And all of a sudden, Udasoft left without a teammate. He does pop the GA, but he goes down the double kill for the Galio.
And they do get the big play off here, Order. That's the redemption play for them down in the bottom lane. And even though Ubisoft had a redemption, oh, hang on, mid.
Get back going
Just
in,
dead.
shutting him down, and Corporal comes through for the Crowstorm looking for Jake. Hook back once
Teleports.
again. I'm not sure if that's the one he wanted, but the teleports do come through. Corporal goes golden, but Order realized this is the time to shine. They may have lost Dream, but they took out 3 of the Wolves.
And just like last time, the reason they can make these plays, Order, is because they have the teleports available to go down to that lane. Swiffer, Tally, they immediately come into the counterplay that happens in mid lane. And Direwolves, they've lost 3 people, including their jungler, and Baron has been started.
Lower enough death timers, but not low enough for the Baron to really be stopped here, so it's going to be on Get Back and Andrew to try and make something happen, if they even can. Claw comes forward, doesn't take it, not fooling anyone on that one. Order just keep going. Spooks holding onto that smite. Teleport comes in for BioPanthers. He's back up, flashing forward though, Swiffer. They get the wombo of the combo onto Get Back. He goes golden. Andrew still trying to find the damage, but Tally zoning in the front, taking the damage. Get Back walks away again. Are you kidding me?
They just get another kill. Somehow this game is going back and forth. It's just a seesaw of control. Direwolves, though, they're the ones who get the kill last. No teleport for Swiffer, no chance to reset, but he's still here, and he wants to push them off the Baron. I feel like they'll be successful in pushing them off, however. And once again, we're going to come back to a pause, a full reset from both teams potentially. This game is just madness.
100% madness at this point. The gold lead has been slim. It's been so much ebb and flow. Little advantages have been gained and lost in the blink of an eye. And through it all, Get Back keeps living when he has no business doing.
Yeah, through it all, they've actually managed to keep a gold lead. Direwolves, even though they're losing people, they're getting shutdowns potentially. There is a 1,000 gold shutdown onto Andrew on that Lucian.
Ooh, Spooks going forward for
he's
Ubisoft.
really
That's a flash
wanted.
Hextech ultimatum. And in comes Birdio. Out of the skies he goes, and oh, that's the shield of Durand onto BioPanther. Andrew dodging away from it. The fight keeps on going, but Order were the ones who started this one. BioPanther finding an equalizing kill. That's going to be the feathers flying once again. Double kill going the way of Dream. And it's over like that. Spooks trades his life for those of BioPanther and Ubisoft.
Yeah, Spooks doesn't have the Guardian Angel this time, so he does have to trade his life. But a bit of deja vu on Summoner's Rift, it feels like, with those trades. But just more members down here this time for the same result, oddly enough.
Everything's dead even. You've got 11 to 11 in kills. The gold is pretty insignificantly different. And look at that, even the dragons are matched.
It just means that once again, Order, with those 2 picks, should move their pressure, move their focus over to the Baron. Direwolves will try and get that mid lane priority. Control the minion waves. Don't let Order get too much control on the map. And push their way in through mid, as they might actually have a pick. Oh,
Cool. Get Back starting to hurt.
I thought he would do it too.
4 items, including that Void Staff.
Still no teleports for the side of Order. Get Back does have one for himself. So
There's still one outer tower here, so I think Swiffer wants to change that.
yeah, and the thing is, like, even though Order don't have teleports, if they're fighting for Baron and Swiffer's top lane, that's just normal.
That's fine.
He's got his
You're
ult
close
anyway
enough.
to cover distance.
He might have to be a little careful, though, because Get Back
reckon?
and Udasoft are sniffing here. There we go. Justice Punch away.
Cannon's
Should be enough
gonna
to
lock
finish
it.
the tower.
Secure an objective. Of course, it's not going to matter too much in terms of gold influx for anyone. Right now, the most important things are side lane control in terms of, like, can you get a minion wave slowly pushing towards your enemies? Can you control the mid lane and have vision around that area safely without being hooked by a Thresh on your way through? Or getting ulted by a Fiddlesticks or Lissandra if you're the side of Order. And then just looking around the Baron buff, because this dance has gone for quite a while with only real intermissions where we go bot lane and have an all-in brawl instead. That's your TLDR of the game.
Yeah, pretty good. I got no way to argue with it. Show must go on, though, so we keep on going. And the question has definitely been answered of will this be a slow game? It has been.
Oh.
39 minutes.
Yeah,
Rusty's
speaking
going to
of-
check Twitter.
Speaking of questions, I got one from Benji.
All right.
Uh,
Nick Boy said he was dead, so what is the afterlife like?
from the ghost of Benji.
Thank you.
He said, teach me something LoL related. And I feel like I've been doing that all game. But what I will give him then is that I've been playing a lot of Silas. And here's a fun fact for you. Lucian has a 0.7 AP ratio on his W. Braum has a 0.6 AP ratio on his R.
And you
all of
wouldn't
these
know
things
that.
are bloody amazing.
But
As
for
Silas, though, you can steal the Braum ult. It has 350 base damage at level 16 with a 0.6 ratio. So it's actually worth it to steal a support ultimate if you're Silas.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
There you go.
And that's why he's getting banned.
Yeah, that specifically is not that he's really strong.
Oh, just the AP
Brawl
ratios
ult,
and everyone
yeah.
else's ultimate.
Also, Lucian's AP does have an AP ratio on his R.
Oh,
Weird fact for you.
okay. So you're just going to, like, find out every champion that has an AP
I
ratio on their
absolutely do
ultimate.
that anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
for my own personal
Here
gain.
we go. Crowstorm flashing forward. Looks like they've caught the Camille. And they're going to be able to dodge out the Galio ultimate as
They're
well.
gonna keep
However,
looking.
the hook on a Biopanther means that they're going to try and turn this one around. However, Order just don't quite have the damage tally. He's kind of going the wrong way with that train, and now Swiffer's getting
dead.
caught up with the rest of the team. He does take a chunk out of Corporal's health bar, but that's one quick kill from Swiffer, or onto Swiffer already, I should say.
Yeah, one quick kill, but also Spooks has no HP, and they're still hunting
The
Direwolves.
never move in goes Get Back, but he gets deleted almost immediately. Tally was the one to chunk him out. Both mid laners are dead.
Dream's an absolute monster. Without him right now, Order would really be struggling. Order have Dream and Jake being absolute heroes, but Biopanther's got some big moments of himself. In that last team fight, he actually flashes a point-blank Scion ult. So things going very well for both teams in mechanical ways, but a lot of the decisions, it seems, getting caught, all this fighting for vision, none of it's actually resulted in a big team fight win yet.
But Order do have the jump on the Baron, and maybe this is the time they will finally opt for it. No, I don't think so. Or will they? With Get Back down for 25 seconds. They're going to opt into it. Swiffer has teleport and 8 seconds on his cooldown, so Corporal's going to come sniffing. Along with Biopanther.
They'll get this pretty low, I think, for free here.
Yeah.
It's just secured easy. Well done from Order. They find their timing. All it takes is that single window. Once again, we speak about their discipline. They make it work.
That was one hell of a Baron Tango. 10 minutes long. Ends up being won by Order finally, but there will be another dragon on the board. This should be the Elder.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, now there's another big objective they have to fight for. Baron does a lot for the side wave control. At 40 minutes, Baron also provides the maximum in terms of stats, so it has got its benefits. Direwolves have first move into this area, but what they don't have is vision. They haven't recalled from the Baron fight. Look at Corporal's items. 0 wards able to be placed, 0 control wards for the team. They have to pick their battle right now, or they have to reset and risk it being taken.
In order to know exactly what's going on here, so they've actually sent Swiffer around the side while they're just having 3 members.
They
onto
haven't
the
spotted
dragon.
him.
Oh, here we go. That's going to be the 3-man taunt. Swiffer goes in, goes massive, and immediately Order turn for this one. They're getting chunked pretty low with even the dragon involved in this, but a pair of redemptions comes through, means Swiffer
Swiffer's
will
dead.
drop. Direwolves have a chance to fight this as Spooks was not really involved in that fight. Dragon gets leashed over here to the Direwolves. Will they be able to polish it off before all is said and done? Spooks still
not
waiting
there.
for a moment in. The smite goes down. It gets taken by Direwolves, and all of a sudden, can't take the lantern. Tally's going to fall. Direwolves get 2 kills, and the big Drake.
And the Elder Dragon, what is happening in this game? Spooks wasn't even there to contest the smite. He was on the backside of the pit. No way in. He's got the Baron. He's going to look towards a turret to trade. But this is now a rampaging Direwolves with an Elder Dragon trying to run it up mid lane.
And they're just going to be able to do that right now. Dream and Jake might have been great, but they don't have enough firepower to stop this push here. Direwolves are the first to break the base. Out of all that happened, that's the big surprise now.
It's almost it's just ridiculous. This game is absurd. There's just so much happening. Direwolves couldn't really afford to stay. They couldn't afford to contest that dragon if Order just played slowly, played for the vision control and pushed them away, used the Baron for side lanes, but they choose to take the fight. They choose to flash over and Swiffer dies for it and Spooks can't get there for the combo.
Jeez.
You'll work it out, scoreboard. I trust you.
It's the scoreboard doesn't even know what's happening anymore. For the behind-the-scenes story, go at Oceanic Pro League on Instagram. This game is bonkers, though.
Yeah.
This game is just absolutely banana pancakes, Rusty. The scoreboard just keeps freaking out.
It's really hard not to notice.
Well, the sad thing is you know there's a graphics operator just freaking out right now. Poor guy. But 44 minutes into this game, and Direwolves have really proved that they just have an unlimited reserve of tenacity. However, I do think Spooks kind of outplayed himself a little bit in that.
They will they will outlast their opponents, Pyra. But you are correct that this has not been the cleanest game from either side. There have been good decisions, though, from Order overall. I feel like the bottom lane can only be commended so far with how they've been playing. Dream and Jake, out of their mind as a duo. It's the combo that you really do have to highlight. And we say this from draft, you know, like if Order want to win this game, they should be hitting the Camille Galio combo. It's a ridiculously powerful combo. It gives you a team fight, and it should be a free kill onto a carry. But they've got 2 Zone Use users and an Olaf that are very hard to kill. 3 Zone Use users, rather. So it's just Lucian. But this Lucian has no summoners, no QSS, and he's still always alive. They just have not found him.
Dude, he is living in the danger zone, like full Kenny Loggins at this point, and he's still doing absolutely fine. Swiffer gets pulled back on the never move. It's okay, though. And you can see that it's all about trying to play on these side waves, but when the Baron respawns, we will start this dance anew.
And this second Baron is important, but there is one other thing that we have to mention, and that is the second Elder Dragon. When that comes up, and it's granted it's in a little while from now.
It's going to happen, though. I don't think this game's going to end before then.
But when it comes up, that is the GG Dragon for Direwolves if they can lock that down. It said, Riot said that it is a game-ending dragon. That's how powerful it is as a buff, and it's absolutely true. But Baron comes first. Direwolves have control of the area, generally speaking, but they haven't controlled the pit. There's still a ward you can see right there on your screen. But there's still quite some time yet for the control ward needing to be placed there.
Yeah. Order are somewhat in the dark, but for this war of attrition, they haven't been pushed back all the way.
We're back.
Yep. Get them wards in the pit. So Direwolves go back, they'll reset. There's some of the wards you like to see.
And
only the Fiddlesticks can buy them anymore, though, because he's the only one with slots.
And you know, fundamentally looking at League of Legends as well as a game, you want to be able to do what Order just did, and that is walk in, place all of your vision with a little while left before the Baron spawns, so that you can reset, get more wards, and then set up on the ones you already have to be able to advance them further. If you can set up, again, that's why you look at Barons with like a minute and a half maybe before it actually spawns, to give you time to have these resets, to get 4 extra wards if you're Jake, or extra control wards for other people on the team. But you're right, at this stage, there's not a lot of item slots available for control wards to be purchased. There is only the support for Direwolves, who hasn't actually upgraded his support item, I might add. And there is 2 on the side of Order.
It's definitely the case. 22 seconds, Baron timer ticking. Biopanther's going to start making moves
1
for
minute 30 till Dragon is also a big timer we have to watch now. Baron's a big deal, of course.
This is the calm before the storm, Rusty. Udisoft, a little bit isolated. Still trying to scare Swiffer and Jake away from their vision control.
And at this stage, it's execution for me. If you're the Direwolves, this is where they really have to show that they've got what it takes to keep up with the best players in the league. No QSS on Illusion, first of all, but he has got summoners. And non-tank champions that have to execute and hit their buttons, or they die instantly. That's where the execution is important. Get back. He has made the mistake before. On Yasuo went into the back line. This time, he's got to hit it.
Great play by BioPanther, though, to sniff this one out. But
They're
it looks
on.
like it's going to be the start of the fight. They've caught onto one. That's the shutdown on Andrew. That is exactly what Order needed to take this fight, and the rest of the Wolfpack will scatter.
And it should just be the Baron lockdown for Order now. They take the 1 kill, and I can't stress it enough, that Lucian, no way of surviving. Honestly, his best defensive item is a Zonya's Hourglass if you want to survive against a comp like this. Goes down, Baron should be secured. Direwolves, they're going to push it up mid. They've got their side waves in check right now. Top and bottom doing well. They're going to set up at the Dragon.
They're going to try to rush this one down, but there's still 7 seconds remaining here. The question is, can Order get in time to respond?
It's also 30 seconds on Andrew, and he has most of the damage you would have to imagine towards an objective
They're not going
like
to start
this.
it.
They can't start it. They have to get a pick. They have to try and push away Order if they can. But a recall coming in makes me wonder.
This is a beeline right now that Order are making here, and you can see Tally goes in just on the unstoppable onslaught. Direwolves hanging around the back of the pit here. Corporal as well. He's going to be waiting in the wings with the Crow Storm. Andrew still 6 seconds away. Direwolves, they need to make a move or run away with their tails between their legs, looking for the steal, but he goes way too early right now, and he's forced to flash away. Disaster for Ubisoft. And that is going to be Baron and the second Elder for Order.
The Dragon resets. He could have used Redemption to get vision. I think it does as well of the area. Either way, he goes in, Dragon resets. There was no opportunity for him to steal that either way. Really tragic in timing there is Ubisoft, but he flashes, he survives, and that's a big deal. Now you've got a Baron and an Elder Dragon on Order, and surely this is what they can use to end the game. They know there's no heal for Andrew, but he flashes up. With a Camille ult, however, nothing can save him.
This is some of those rookie nerves starting to show through for some of the members of the Direwolves. And it's looking like their chances of pulling this one back are going to be very, very slim here as we crest the 50-minute mark with a Baron-empowered, second Elder buffed Order squad.
What can you do now if you Direwolves? Always a question. But where will Order go next is the thought, as they have
Tally's caught.
Tally.
He's a beefy boy. Let's see how much damage they can do to him here.
That's a
Redemption
lot of
coming
health.
through. Yeah, he's all right. He's
Oh, he's turning it.
Oh my goodness! I think I saw this in Pacific Rim at some point. Direwolves running away.
And Swiffer has to respect as well. Tally just immediately turns. There's no almost proccing on him yet, but it just starts now. He's going to be perfectly fine. You can't catch a Scion. There's just no way, no how, unless the Lucian is there doing the maximum damage and dashing forwards.
And Swiffer going through.
Oh,
With the chicken wings of war. Taking out another tower. Dream's just been putting in overtime on these turrets here, and now the base is going to get broken open on 2 fronts.
yeah,
Spooks
maybe a
unopposed
third.
in mid.
They've also got the wave bottom lane. You can see that one prepped for them, like a good cooking show it was done earlier. They push through mid, but you can see Spooks immediately goes bottom as the group of 4 go to mid. He gets Baron on those waves, gets it on those minions bottom, and what can Direwolves do? If you don't fight now, you're just at risk of losing 3 inhibitors. There's a minimum 2.
And Direwolves just don't know how to respond to this one. It's great poise by Order here. The experience shining through as they look to systematically close this game out.
No risk, no reason to do something too crazy. They've got 2 big buffs, the Baron and the Dragon, so you just play it slow. Try and force your opponents to make mistakes and pressure them. That's
they've got
2
2
inhibs
inhibs
gone. This mid lane's the only one that's left, and now you just start to bring the minions in. Maybe you wait for Super's Dream. He wants the fight. They're going to get it.
Yep, looks like they'll be able to find it. Direwolves are pushed back up against the Nexus at this point. Nothing but a pair of towers remaining between Order and victory.
And the first super comes in right now from the top side of the map. You look towards bottom, and there's one not too far away. Minions run very quick, I might add, on Summoner's Rift. But Order do slow down. You can see the Baron is gone. They think Direwolves might be able to defend this, but they have nowhere else to go. They have no need to leave this base.
There's nothing on the map to take anymore. I mean, a cheeky red buff is all it's up. So Order should be pushing this one in for the win here, but even now, they're not taking any unnecessary risks. Oh, teleport, flank. It's Get Back.
Direwolves are gone.
Let's see if they can make it happen. Get Back, it looks like
He's up there.
puts
There
himself
he
in
is.
the frozen tomb. I think he's going to be dying at this point. Dream goes into the Featherstorm. You can see Spooks there looking for Corporal, turns it back around with the Drain and some fear, but this last-ditch fight for Direwolves is not going to be enough for them to save their chances in this game. Even Dream lives, goes into the Guardian Angel, and that is all she wrote. Order will be able to polish off that last turret, ending this game It was a hell of a slog, but they managed to do it here. That Crow Storm just kind of waving goodbye to this game here as the Direwolves will fall and Order extend their win streak to 4.
We get to 53 minutes, but Order could do what Mammoth could not yesterday, and they managed to close the game out. They get the victory. Still a slog, still a hard-fought battle from both sides, and a fair fight in the end. Order still proved that their resilience, their experience, and their composure as a team proves too strong.
Yeah, and not only that, you know, we have the adage proving true once again. You give Swiffer the Galio, and they will not lose. He wasn't the only reason that victory happened by a long shot. Order all came together, especially that bot lane.
I mean, I think Tally had a fantastic game. I actually look at the bottom lane as well. Dream and Jake did have a stellar showing as the 2v2, so credit to them specifically. I think Spooks actually was a bit off in that game, and whether it was the combo of Spooks and Swiffer is to be determined, of course.
Right.
But I just feel like Spooks was the one who had an off game. But that's the thing, you know, Rogue mentioned it earlier when the Bombers played. If someone has an off game, you have to be able to trust that your team is there to catch you and do well themselves. And I think that's where you have to commend Order for it, because the bottom lane steps up in a game like this.
Yeah, and it's always been a lingering question when you have a team that's mostly staying together to have new members coming in. How well will they perform even a couple of weeks on? I think they really did prove that bottom lane of Order proved that they can step up to the plate 100% of the way.
And all of the Direwolves.
Yeah,
who actually had a
no,
very good
it was
week.
a great game for them. I mean, despite being 1-1, that it's their best week so far in the OPL. The pieces are coming together. I think we would see a lot more wins if Direwolves didn't have such a tough strength of schedule at the moment.
I mean, you still have to look at them and just say trust the process once more, because as it goes, they're getting better and better.
I think that's true. Big time. So we're going to hand it back off to the couch to talk about that one. It was another long Direwolves game, guys.
These 50-minute Direwolves games, I don't have it in me.
Is that going to be the thing? Is that going to be like Direwolves' new thing? Like trust the process or whatever, but like we're just going in for like long, grindy, double Elder Dragon, multiple Barons? Is that it?
One of the things that is hard to get into your team is like stage practice. And we talk about it a lot. You know, scrims are one thing, but stage practice, that's a completely different realm where they've just got like an hour and 50 minutes of stage practice in one weekend. Yeah. They have more stage practice in this weekend than I think Bombers have played the entire year, nearly so far.
They've got so much valuable footage to review. That's good. But I think like we're kind of miming that fact, but they held in that game for a very long time, right? Like this was a close game. I feel like early Order obviously like came up with the victory, but their Camille Galio combination certainly was not getting them the victories in the early fights that they were looking for. They had a few defensive like Galio usages, and that's just not what you want to see from a Camille Galio composition. Eventually it worked out, but Dials were able to hold on.
And I think like the problem was like they just had so many targets that were like crap to Galio ult, right?
Yeah.
So they pick up the Swain, which, you know, isn't played or seen. I felt like that was like the best answer into the Galio that they could have. Lysandra in team fights is really hard because she just goes into Frozen Tomb and you get a guaranteed 2-person Frozen Tomb. So it was really on Lucian. They had to be able to access Lucian. But Andrew was playing like incredibly far back in a lot of those team fights and really respecting the initial engage and then like going forward with the second wave of his team because both Swain, like, well, if you go onto a Zhonya's target, like then you're not going to be able to kill them, then he can guarantee the re-engage. So it wasn't until Spooks like correctly identified that he just has to, like, for better words, like kamikaze in to try and get Andrew, and they did it in that one mid lane fight. That game was just back and forward 50-50.
Yeah, because like to speak about how the two team comps interact, the fact that I realized like 20 minutes into the game, when Liz has his Zhonyas, when Fiddle has his Zhonyas, and Swain has his Zhonyas, it's like Order's comp is a one-button comp. Camille goes in, Galio lands, Cyan goes in, and either they've killed someone or they haven't, and they're going to lose the fight. And it's like, if that was intentional, which I will give them credit for, that those are very smart answers, team comp-wise, to a comp that I now think Order is the only team that will play. Very few teams will still put priority onto Galio. Order is obviously one of them.
We'll keep playing it, by the way. You keep giving us Galio, we'll keep playing the damn thing.
But like that's cool adaptation. That sort of thinking reminds me of Legacy brand support into Ivan.
Yeah.
Where that's such a niche counter pick because Ivan like bunches the team up, and Cupcake was on Legacy at the time, and he was just throwing out ultis, decimating teams. Like that's just really cool.
at the same time, like, so there was all these great things happening. Like, I do think we have to talk about like what went wrong in ORD's game because like it shouldn't be going for 50 minutes. And there was just so like yesterday we saw like a similar thing. Like everything's going right for them. Then the Rift Herald play happens. Like they challenge a Rift Herald they shouldn't have challenged. They should have either been there or they should have just given it up. Cost them like 10 minutes of like previously hard done work. This game, and he's about to do an interview. Sorry, Dream. This game, like Spooks and Swiffer put like all their priority from top lane and setting up the map into getting a 2v3 bottom lane, and they get 2 kills, like guarantee it. Like Dream gets picked mid lane, like all of a sudden it's like, well, we can't do Baron. Like the game just slows down. It seems like the team has got like 80% of the right idea, and then like 20% of like mixed execution is just dragging out ORD's games against like seemingly weaker opponents like Legacy, like Direwolves, and all that does is it gives them another team fight to have a shot at it. And Direwolves like showed yesterday that if you give them like 10 to 15 team fights,
they'll take a chance.
They'll win one of them, and then they'll win a game, and that just gets scary to watch.
Because they certainly like did, as opposed to yesterday, they were more willing to force onto order when they had those windows. And I feel like I'm obviously support bias, and I feel like when Chiefs play and Ayla plays really well, I've been talking about him, but Jake had an incredible Thresh game. And I feel like I just wanted to note it because I'm someone in the past, I'll be like, Jake cannot play Thresh. Like, and when I was playing him, like, in OPL, I'm like, this guy plays defensive, he plays Braum, he plays Nami, but like, that was a very good game. So many clutch hooks saved, like, team fights. It saved Dream with Lantern, stuff like that. So, like, props to him on a champion we haven't seen that sort of performance from. And, like, it really kept order in those games when those mistakes were happening.
And when Dream got 6 items, he also played very well. So I'll say that.
Well, we'll go to the man who played very well when he got 6 items. Let's see if he has the missing 20% that ORD need to close out this split. It's Dream, and he's at the desk with Pyro.
I think he had 100% at the end of it, if you ask me. But Dream, congratulations on the win there. That was
Thank you very much.
a hard-fought one. Like, apparently a lot of Direwolves games are trending right now. How do you keep your head in the game when it goes plus 50 minutes against this team?
Yeah, like the long game, 50 minutes. It's it's a long time. Especially there's no breaks in between. It's consistent concentration. I think a lot of it's like the adrenaline. It keeps me going. But yeah, just focusing on the next play. Like, what are we doing? When we're resetting, it's just what are we doing outside of base? How are we looking to win this game? And what are their sort of opportunities to outplay us?
Yeah, so there's a lot of dance back and forth for sure. But let's talk a little bit about the dynamic duo in the bot lane, because you guys were dancing around like on tightropes. It was like watching Batman and Robin in action, man. Like, that synergy does not happen overnight. How have you guys gotten to that level, like, so impressively between you and Jake?
Well, I think a lot of it is just understanding like the enemy's play, and especially when Jake's playing Thresh, he's very, very aware of sort of how we can die and what we need to do to survive or to do our role in the team. I think Jake's taught me a lot about sort of how to play the game smart rather than just playing aggressive, which is what I do in solo queue. So
and carry instincts. No, I know that feeling.
A lot of watching VODs together, studying our games together, and a lot of tough conversations, which have been like we need to get better at this and this and this. Which I appreciate the honesty when it comes to 2v2 learning.
Yeah, impressive stuff. Speaking of Jake, let's talk about the other Jake, because he said the team sometimes is missing a little bit of 20% that allows teams to come back into it.
Yeah.
What are you guys working on to kind of address like just those couple of instances of missed opportunities?
I think a lot of it just comes down to like threat assessment and understanding how their counterplay, right? Their cross map. So in this game specifically, when they went when Spooks and Swiffer killed them bot, and I died mid, I actually thought I would be fine with cleanse. But the Lissandra damage, considering I didn't build any magic resistance, actually just killed me all the way through it. So yeah, even with thumbs up, I got picked, and just back to review, I guess, on that one. And understanding my limits better is definitely something I'm learning every day.
Yeah, so even in a win, you can always learn a little bit. Well, thanks again, and congrats on the win. You guys are 4-0 now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, back to the couch.
The chat just love Dream. I'm seeing a lot of Dream slurp emotes